Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 386 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. What's going on out there? Thank you so much for being here and listening. It's been a wild week, I know, for everyone. There's a lot going on in the world. Let's just say that. But being aware enough that you have a whole lot more control of your life than you were ever told in school or traditional religion or most of the places where we got so-called educated. I mean, we should have been having mindfulness classes at every stage. We should have been learning about the control that we have over our thoughts from the time we were old enough to know the difference. But most of us weren't. And that's okay, because here we are now. We're figuring it all out. And a lot of times the things that we have had to deal with build us into who we are today. In fact, all of the time. Sometimes the toughest things we go through make us the strongest. And it has been a rough week. We've had wars breaking out in the world that are unfathomable to us here in America. I mean, that's all anyone seems to be able to talk about. Our friends in Israel are getting beat up pretty bad. It's difficult to witness what's going on, but there it is. And somehow we have to deal with it. And oh, by the way, we not only have that stuff worldwide, we also have our own world, our own personal world that can feel like a war in itself, right? I mean, that doesn't stop because other bad stuff is happening. Nope, our world keeps right on going too. And sometimes it feels like it's just piling on. And sometimes we tell ourselves it's too much. I can't handle it. There's a little voice inside our head that will, if we let it, says, I'm not made to deal with this. It's just too hard. Now, I thought that a couple times this week. But as you know, I'm always working on catching that little voice inside my head, the one that doubts me, the one that berates me, the one that makes everything my fault because, well, of course it is. You know the one because you have it too. But I'm getting really good at catching that voice and shutting it down because I'm in control of everything I think. But when bad things happen, and they do, that little voice, the one that tells you it's all your fault or you're losing it and you can't handle it, that little voice has got to be shut down and shut down quickly. This week, Eric, my husband, has been flying and he's been working so hard and I'm so grateful for him. So he's been out of town, but just before he left at 5:00 in the morning on Monday, he was going to be gone all week. Our little fur baby, our Yorkie, I talk about her all the time, Kenzie, she had been up literally all night struggling to breathe or struggling with something. We didn't really know what. So it's 1:30 in the morning and we've not slept. She's not slept and he has to leave at 5 in the morning. So in a couple hours, and we're trying to decide if we should take her to the emergency hospital or wait till her vet opens at 7. So ultimately, it made the decision. I wanted to take her somewhere that they know her, so we decided to wait. But now Eric's gone, and I'm taking our little struggling baby into the vet by myself. She's 14, by the way, and she's been so healthy. She looks like she's 5. Seriously, when I take her a lot of places, and people always think she's 3 or 5. She's very healthy. But long story short, we have been on an emotional roller coaster all week. Fortunately, my little sister, Molly, just jumped right in and came to the rescue. She drove all the way from Nashville to be here with me. But Kenzie was in the emergency hospital for 2 days after spending a full day at her regular doctor. Now, I'm making hard decisions left and right, and it is very emotional. And there have been times where I caught myself saying, I'm not built to do this. I can't handle it. It's too hard. It's too difficult. But I stop myself every time I think that, and I say, wait a minute. Yes, you can. You're strong. At one point, I was also handling a difficult situation with work all at the same time while we're having wars going on. And I felt like my head was going to explode. But I also knew that it was all going to work out as it should. All I had to do was do the best that I can and manage my thoughts. I mean, if you're doing the best that you can and you're managing your thoughts, that is all you have to do. Now, while Molly is here at night to distract ourselves, she came to just be with me, and because it was a rough week, but we were distracting ourselves from worry. So we're watching this series that we like, and one of the actors tells her friend that they're both going through what seems impossible to bear. But she tells her friend, you know what, this is hard, and what's happening is awful. But the only way you're going to survive is if you keep your shit together. And by that, she means don't ever let your head get the best of you. I mean, that's what happens, right? We let our heads wrestle in those negative thoughts, and it makes every single thing worse. And then we distract ourselves by watching the news or scrolling social media, and now our head is an even worse place, if that was possible. When we do this, though, it is really, really easy to believe that voice that we can't handle things when they're hard. At one point, we went to visit Kinsey, and she's in her little oxygen chamber because she wasn't able to breathe outside of it. And she was in that we're separated by glass, and she just wanted me to take her home. She wanted me and Molly to take her home, and she didn't understand. She was scratching on the little glass window like, hey, take me home, Mom. That's hard. And I was losing it. But I also knew I couldn't lose it. I had to be strong. Because I am strong, stronger than I ever give myself credit for. It's making me cry just thinking about that moment. Molly and I were a mess, but we held it together. But because we're strong, and so are you. We just have to stop telling ourselves that we're not. Now, as I record this, Kinsey is sleeping in her little bed snoring. She's back home. We aren't sure for how long, but that doesn't matter. I made it through this week. I mean, the thing that I was working on that was stressful about work, it's all taken care of. It's fine. And I will make it through the next time it happens too, regardless of what happens. I know that because I'm strong, and so are you. That's how we're built. But you aren't going to find that strength in the gym. The strength that strength, it starts and finishes in your head. Shut that little voice down when it starts to tell you you're messed up or you're at fault or you can't handle it. Yes, you can. You do your best and everything else will work out as it should. And be really, really careful what you spend your time focusing on. I say that so much, but it's become blatantly obvious to me that I can't just allow a lot of time with the news or social media in general. It does not allow for my brain to really cultivate the good thoughts that we need to have to really be happy in this life, especially in this crazy world, right? So that's my challenge for you this week. Do the best you can. And when you feel like things are out of control and everything's going crazy and you can't handle it, remind yourself, keep your shit together because you can. You control that. You do that and everything else will happen as it should. Share this with 3 people who may be having a day. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.